tell us how you started Allowance and really get as granular as possible about how the process worked, say, for your kids when they were at the youngest age that you started it. So just give us the beginnings of the Rogin Allowance.
Yeah, well, I'm thrilled you're asking about this. I'm a big fan of Allowance, and I'll tell you the way that we did it. So once they started kindergarten, we started Allowance, and we always had a number that we were giving them that is divisible by 3, so that a third of it would go into their wallets, which they had when they were little, where they could decide how to spend it. A third would go into savings, which at the beginning was a piggy bank, and a third would go to giving. So it would go towards charity. And so many beautiful things came out of this that I know were lessons that they didn't realize we were teaching them at the time. So first of all, just setting up those 3 categories, I think showed our values. When they started being able to spend money, so sometimes, they learned, well, maybe let's say it was $3, $1 wouldn't buy them much, but if they save for a couple of weeks or if they asked for extra jobs, they could get more money, they could get things more quickly. As parents, my husband and I had to learn that unless it was like guns or drugs, which they never asked to buy when they were 7, we said yes. Like, it's their money unless we were morally opposed to it, which never happened. And I remember our son like saving money and buying this whole huge thing of Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I thought was the stupidest waste of money. And the funny thing is, but I didn't say anything. Fast forward many years, he came home during quarantine, and now he lives on his own. He was living in New York. He's 25 years old, and he goes to his room and finds all his Yu-Gi-Oh cards. He goes, "Mom, a couple of these cards are worth $1,500. So I realized, okay, I'm glad I didn't say anything. Maybe he was learning about investing back then. I don't know. But so we were always, it was always divisible by 3. It increased as they got older. A couple things that happened. Our intention with the money that was going to charity was that then we would talk to them about where it should go and on a regular basis. And as they got a little older, what started to happen is we just got busy, and they would take those dollars, and I had them in a baggie in my bedroom. Like, that's where we would add it to the charity fund. And when our kids got into middle school, we started taking volunteer vacations. And Amy, and I was feeling guilty that we hadn't allocated, or I hadn't helped them allocate this charity money. And on our second trip to Ghana, our daughter Amy bought 2 laptops with the money she had in her baggie, because it had accumulated to that much money. And so she got to really make a difference. We have pictures of her handing these laptops to these kids there. So as a parent, it also, with both of these examples that I shared, Benji's Yu-Gi-Oh cards and saving up this money for laptops, now that I have some perspective, allowed me to not beat myself up for not doing the things that I thought were important that ended up all working out okay.